Hello and welcome to the tea room. I'm going to be talking today about twin flame journey, about the twin flame journey. I have noticed that there are a few readers that have talked about the twin flame journey, and they're talking about whether it is real or an illusion, or whether it is an illusion or whether it's real. Well, personally, I believe that the twin flame journey is a real journey. I say that because illusions can't manifest. If it were an illusion, then there would be no manifestation on any level. And we do know that there are couples that claim twin flame journey and they are in union. Now, I do understand, empathize, and sympathize with those who have appeared to have become weary or have grown weary in their weight. Now, the one thing that my take is on the situation is that if it is a divine union, then that means that the divine has to manifest it and has to bring it to fruition. It's not anything that you or I could do while we are in the positions that we're in. Those of us that are in what we call the separation phase of the twin flame journey. One would say that it's like hell to wait. However, I like to compare it to when a woman is having a child and she's in labor, while she's travailing, there's nothing you could do, about the pain. There are modern things that you could do, epidural and all that stuff like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just having natural labor. And we know that the greater the pain, those of us have had the pleasure of experiencing the pain of having a child or giving birth to a child, the greater the pain, the closer the time to giving birth. It's like a signal. The greater the pain, then the greater the closer the time is to giving birth. Okay, so I'm saying that I believe that the time frame in which you're in separation doesn't have anything to do with whether or not the twin flame journey is an illusion or whether it's real, because either it is real or it is not real. And as I said, I believe that it is real. And so with that, as I spoke about the pain aspect of bearing a child, when you are in deeper pain, you're closer to the child being born. And what happens after that beautiful child comes forth? You forget all about that pain. It's like if it never happened in some ways, you know what I mean? And also, when you are experiencing giving actual birth, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, I felt like I was like out of my body. You know what I mean? But anyways, in comparison to giving birth, the twin flame journey, I think the separation phase is somewhat similar to that I'm telling you, it is quite painful. It is quite painful, and the pain gets more intense. I'm talking about the longing, the missing, the just wanting to be with your twin. And I think that happens on both ends. Although I think that it for the masculine or for the feminine, whichever happens to be the chaser or the runner, I think that once the runner gets to a place where they are with themselves and they are good with that, and they have ascended to the higher heights and deeper depths, I think that that's when they get calm and they relax, and they're not in that space of longing and of just feeling like there's like just wanting to die, really, in some instances. I think that the did I say the runner? I meant to say the chaser. Okay, if I didn't say the chaser. Okay, if I didn't say that, I intended to say the chaser. When the chaser, I think the chaser goes through the ascension first. And I think that the chaser gets to that higher heights and deeper depths first. And then the runner gets to experience it as well. But then I think like the roles kind of switch in some ways or something like that. Because I think that there's just a calmness that just comes over you, and you just know that what you're going through is real. And I think that it is a knowingness that comes from authenticity, that if you are truly a twin flame on a twin flame journey, I think that you experience the settling down, so to speak, and that you get to a place where you're not feeling that that longing in the same way, or that the pain is just different. You know, it's almost like you're in a waiting station with the pain or something like that. And you just come into a place of understanding. You come into a place of just knowingness. Now, the one thing that you have to say, that if it's true that the twin flame journey consists of one soul that has split into two bodies, how then can there be no manifestation of union or reunion at some point? Because I believe that the union stage is in the beginning when they talk about the honeymoon stage. I think that that's union. I think that reunion it comes after separation, and then you come together and you reunite as one, you know. And I think that that's where the scripture, what is it? Is that Matthew 19:6? I think that's Matthew 19:6 that say, so the two shall be no longer two, but one flesh. And what God has joined together, let no one separate. Okay. That to me is biblical, biblical confirmation that God does join certain people together. And it's not a matter of coming together because you like each other, but it's a matter of being divinely chosen to be together for a higher purpose. Not so much as romance. I don't think it has a lot to do with romance, although I think that romance is a part of it. I don't think that romance is the end all to all. I think it's a higher calling, and it's something that the two of you are called to do, or something like that, you know. But I do know that Spirit does speak to you regarding the twin flame journey, and tell you things about your partner, and probably tell your partner things about you that they may not share with you because they may not understand it like you didn't understand it at some point in some time. I'm down here at the beach and it's starting to get dark, so I'm gonna put the light on a little bit. I don't know if that makes it where you can see better or whatever. I don't know. But anyways, I think that that it's more of a thing of what was I saying? I think that when Spirit speaks to you about your person, so to speak, I think that it winds up being a situation where a Spirit gives you a word. In other words, for instance, I was given the word pertaining to my twin flame, that it's the word of the prodigal son, that when he returns to receive him as the prodigal son, you know, we all know the story of that knows, you know, the story. We know that the prodigal son, he said to his father, give me my inheritance now. And he took it and he went off with it and he squandered it. They said in the word, if you believe what the Bible says, he squandered it with prostitutes, right? So I was given the word to receive my twin when he returns, as I said, like the prodigal son, and that he went off and did other things, and that he will return, and to not fret, not worry, not, actually to thank the person that he went off with, because that person needed to train him to be what he needed to be, because I don't have I'm not equipped to do it. The lesson that he needed to learn needed to come from someone else. So upon him returning, that will be what it is, him having learned the lesson that he needed to learn. And I actually thank the person, thank myself, I thank my twin, I thank the divine, I thank everyone involved, and I constantly pray and burn candles for us, for our union, for his send Archangel Michael out to keep a hedge of protection over him as he go through his foolishness and his stupidity, the whole whatever. But see, when it's a twin flame journey, it is not the same as a regular relationship, right? When it's not the regular fuckboy shit, in other words. The twin is doing the things that he's supposed to do. He's supposed to do fuckboy shit and go off and do his thing and learn his lesson and then come back. Now, that's what I'm learning, and that's what I've been told, and that's what I've read, and that's what I'm living proof of. Now, the one thing I can say is that Spirit will keep you in the time that it needs to keep you, and that I hear people say, "Oh, that person was my false flame." I don't believe in false flames, because how can it be, if it's true that it's one soul that split into two bodies, that it can be false? You can't have a false soul split into two bodies. Or can you? If you can't, put it in the comments. I want to hear your take on it. That's my take on it. That's why I don't particularly believe in false flames. I believe that people, in hearing about what a twin flame is, they think that it's all roses and well, roses do have thorns, but I mean, they just think that it's something different. They think that it's, oh, you met the romance of your life. Honey, it's hard. It seems like a goddamn toxic relationship to me. If you want to know the truth about it, when you try to, when you being your authentic self and you try to be loving and kind to your person, and they start an argument with you for no damn reason, when they block you for no good reason, honey, let me tell you, it's not what you think. When you are on a show enough, true twin flame journey, and I am saying that no one could take that person's place. So when people say, oh, well, if that person doesn't do the right thing, then God's going to send somebody else, I don't particularly believe that, because you don't have the desire for someone else. That's one of the twin flame signs, that you don't have a desire for someone else. Because remember, the runner is more awakened than the chaser. I'm sorry, I keep saying the runner. I meant to say the chaser is more awakened than the runner. Because in most cases, when the chaser tells the runner that he or she is their twin flame, they usually don't believe it. They usually say, this bitch is crazy for real now. Or this nigga done lost his mind. You know what I'm saying? So they don't believe it until they come into their own ascension or their own awakeness. Even though I do believe that the runner recognizes the chaser first, before the chaser realizes that they are connected in the way that they are. I believe upon activation that the runner recognizes the chaser. Hence is why the runner runs, because they don't understand it, and in most cases, I believe they don't want to be in the situation that they're in with that particular person. For one reason, I think, is because they don't understand it. I think that if it's a case where it's a person that is a control freak and they haven't done anything to precipitate the romance, they don't understand it. For instance, if you haven't slept with that person, they don't understand how do they feel this way about you. And you don't understand how you feel this way about them either. However, the runner, I believe, they are more awakened, and they come into the knowingness of what they have, what they come into, they embrace the knowingness in which they have come into learn about via them Googling. As in my case, I Google, what the heck is going on with me? Why am I feeling this way about this person that I've never slept with, that I didn't seek out to sleep with, that I just thought we were just going to have conversation, and lo and behold, I'm so in love with this dude that I don't know what to do with myself. You know what I'm saying? And he's running with both heels hitting his back. I have a video that I'm going to perhaps release. I'm sure that I am now. I made it like over a year ago, like back in February 2024, right? And it's now September 2025, right? Actually, it's 9/9/2025, right? So, which is 999, okay? Whatever that means, I don't know. But anyways, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff going around on the internet about the 999 portal, but as for me knowing what it's all about, personally, I really don't. But I'm just telling you that that is what today's date happens to be, okay? As I'm recording this video, I don't know when I'm going to release it, but anyways, I did do a video talking about my experience of the twin flame journey and my side of the twin flame journey and my experience as a chaser, okay? And I had to do the video because I was losing it. I was going nuts. I thought like I was gonna have to be put away. I was gonna have to put myself away, but it released me when I talked about it, because in many ways I couldn't talk about it with anyone because no one understood. And then once I started going on YouTube and Googling and finding people that were having the experience, you know, I kind of had a better understanding and a better connection with a world of people that were going through the same thing. But then there was so much stuff out there that wasn't true. It was so many people talking about, oh, my twin flame did this. I mean, people have 5 twin flames. And I'm like, that can't be true. Because the way I'm feeling, there's no one that could take my twin's place. If we never ever get together in union in this life, which that's not the case, but if that did happen, where I have come spiritually, and where I have come to spiritually, and the way that I've ascended with my intuitiveness and my spiritual gifts and all like that, I'm whole. I'm whole because I feel like I am so much a part of my twin that it's like I'm always with him. He's always with me. It's kind of like when you're pregnant and you're carrying that child. You've never met that child yet, but you know that child. You understand? And you love that child. And that child goes everywhere with you. And you haven't physically seen them yet, right? So that's kind of like the way that I feel. Even though me and my twin, we have not been intimate in terms of, you know, romantically intimate, like conversations. Not that we talk dirty. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about we haven't, you know, did the do, right? And quite frankly, if we never do, I feel that we have already, because we've had encounters spiritually, and I talk about that in my discussing my journey. And if you listen to the video once I post it, you will hear my whole story. Now, I'm going to tell you, it is very, very long. The video is very, very long. And I thought about breaking it up into bits and pieces. But maybe if you listen to it, you don't have to listen to the whole thing at one time. You can listen to it in bits and pieces. Or if you're intrigued enough, listen to the whole thing from beginning to end. I mean, when I listened to it, I made the video, and then I listened to it. I just listened to it, like just a snippet of it, to make sure that that you could hear me, right? But I didn't listen to the whole thing. I recently listened to the whole thing, like, and when I say recent, I'm talking about like in the last couple of days. Maybe it was like day before yesterday or something like that. I listened to it, or was that yesterday? Whatever. It was recent that I listened to the entire thing. I intrigued the hell out of myself. I'm like, wow, what an experience. And as I'm listening to it, I didn't even realize that it was me that had made that video and that had these experiences, because I felt like I was in such a cocoon or something in at certain times in my life. And then when I made the video, because I was like, something has to give, dear Lord. Something has to give, divine spirit, infinite spirit. Something has to give. So I got the download to do the video, and I did it. And as I could say, that was over a year ago now. It's like back in February, and it's now September of 2025. And yeah, I would say go on and listen to my journey. And if you resonate, then let's have a conversation. Because there's so much out there. And what really made me do this video today is hearing people that I believe are on the twin flame journey, but say that they're so in despair that they don't know if it's real or not. But I'm here to let you know it's real, because illusions cannot come true. They cannot. So therefore, I know that it is not an illusion. Okay. So when you talk about an illusion versus real, the twin flame journey is real. The twin flame journey is real. Okay. And those that are truly on a twin flame journey, they can't do anything else, I don't think, other than be in the space that they're in. I mean, the chaser has a position and the runner has a position. Now, the runner may be dicking everybody he can run across. Maybe married. Maybe got married after he, got activated with you. He may be living with someone. He or she may be living with someone, because the runner could be either masculine, divine masculine, or divine feminine. I think it's more that you have the divine masculine that tends to be the runner versus the divine feminine being the runner. I think that the divine feminine, try to get this thing back out. The divine feminine, I think, tends to be the runner more so than the divine masculine. I don't know, but I think that, at least that's what I'm hearing, right? In these what does what's her name say? I forgot her name. 444 something. She says in these what you call it, streets, she call it. These I forgot what she said. She say that. I love watching her. She says in these whatever. Anyways, damn, now that's gonna bother me that I can't think how she say that. In these what you call it, streets, like spiritual streets. In these spiritual streets. Yes, in these spiritual streets, right? She's funny as hell too. But anyways, I think she's on the divine, yeah, she's on the twin flame journey too. However, I should have wrote her name down. It's Prophetess. Is it Prophetess 444? I don't want to say the wrong name, but it's something 444. Oh, I know it. She has a new channel too called damn it, I can't remember. I'll probably put it in the description or something like that if I remember. What's her new channel? Oh, I can't think of it. Anyways, yeah, but there's a few of us readers that are on the twin flame journey. However, like I said, this video today is mainly about letting people know that the twin flame journey is for real, and to be not dismayed or be discouraged in your separation. Know that it is where it's supposed to be, because in my case, I knew nothing about the twin flame journey to begin with. And when I got activated with my twin, I couldn't have orchestrated that. I couldn't have had anything to do with it, not in the 3D, because I didn't even know what the hell it was. So if God orchestrated that part of it, then he is faithful to finish it. Okay? He's the author and the finisher of my faith. So if he started it, he's going to finish it. And I have to know that. And I'm here today in this video bringing this message to you straight from the tea room, letting you know, although we're in the vehicle, is the tea room vehicle, okay, that God is faithful. And if God has joined you and chosen you to be on the twin flame journey, then know that he's going to bring it to pass. And one quick thing I want to say in closing, I was listening to one of these book podcast things, and they were talking about the I think the name of it is I forget. But anyways, it's about werewolves and talking about how they mate and stuff like that. And one of the things that, I mean, I know that this is not for real or whatever, it's just a story or whatever, but it's fake, right? And so I believe anyways. And so they talked about how when the moon goddess put together a werewolf, and it's the alpha werewolf with his person, and they have like a smell, right? They have a smell that they smell when they meet their person. And so the one girl, she smells chocolate and forest, and the alpha werewolf, he has this scent that he smells. It is like citrusy and tangerine or something like that. Nevertheless, that's how you recognize your person, right? And I am not kidding you. Before I even knew about that or heard about it on the podcast, whatever, I got this smell of my person. We were nowhere near each other, and I got a smell. It smells like breath, but it's not like a stink breath. It just smells like warmth. It smells like warmth,